Hello, 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 and assalamu alaikum. Welcome to The Conversation Piece with your host, Akila. Hello, 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 and assalamu alaikum. Alright, it's that time. The best of season 3. I have so much content this season that I'm breaking it up into 2 parts. So this is part 1. This year of 2021, both myself and CeeCee witnessed a growth in our creativity. She with her YouTube channel, Awaykenned, and myself with my podcast, The Conversation Piece. Now about to wrap up its 3rd season. And I want to thank my first friend and guest, CeeCee, for being a part of what I feel is some of my best work. There's no better cheerleader to have in your corner. So, here are some moments looking back on my season 3 opener. Thank you for being a friend. Enjoy. Oh, don't worry. This time, I will spare you my singing. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to season 3 of The Conversation Piece. I'm your host, Akila. And today, I have the pleasure of introducing a very special person in my life, CeeCee.
Hello, everyone. What's up? It's your girl, CeeCee, and I am thrilled to be here with The Conversation Piece. And Akila, what's going on? Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Like, I pushed all this down, right? And so I'm reading the letter, and I'm like, who is this? I saw Mom. I said, this is so-and-so. And she got quiet. I'm like, who is that? She's like, that's the man that came into our house.
You know, that's
I don't know how much
real.
time we got left on this planet, but
that's right. It's things that need to be said.
Exactly. Because I don't feel like I should be in a space anymore where I'm holding on to stuff. And like, I'm using this platform to share my vulnerabilities because I realize I'm not in this by myself.
Nope.
There's probably somebody on the other side of the world or whoever's listening.
Girl, there's somebody on the other side of this table. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Our stories are so similar. As women, our stories are way too similar. And it's way too quiet. That is the more reason to speak up. And it's not about what you have to show what you're doing.
Right.
It's not about what you have. It's not about the materials at all. The materials are just that, material.
Do you know what $1 million could do? You're not perfect. Forgive yourself for not being perfect. Because what you're about to connect to is perfect. And that perfection will guide you along the way.
That part. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time with reading it. For real. I appreciate that.
Yeah, where's my book? I got all kind of sticky notes in the book. There's probably more sticky notes in the book than actual pages. I'm kidding. I think that's where some of the stagnation comes from, because at the end of the day, you spend more time with yourself and be comfortable with yourself, but there's a resistance because some people don't want to own up to the past and want to own up to their part that they played in the arrested development of themselves. Like, for instance, one thing I had to push through was issues with my biological father. Like, because I didn't know him. I didn't meet him until I was 27. And even that was and for some reason, my energy kept wanting to, like, find out who he was, because my mom would say, and I'm sure she didn't intend this, but she would say, you didn't get that from my side of the family. I'm like thinking, well, if it's not your side of the family, it had to come from somewhere else.
Right.
Because the man I see right in front of me, that's my stepfather, So it didn't come from him, so it had to come from somewhere else. And so it's like my energy went to find out who this person was, because, if I want to, accept it or not, he's still a part of me. And so I didn't meet him until I was 27. And honest to goodness, I'm looking back as like, was that wasted energy? Because he kept putting up barriers to break through our relationship. And talking to my mom, he had to deal with a lot. He had to overcome a lot. But that stunted his growth. And I'm sitting here in front of him like, I'm your daughter. like it or not, I didn't really ask to be here, but I'm here. You know, I don't know if you want to have a relationship with me or not, but I mean, I wrote him a letter, a very personal letter, and I sent it to him, and I asked him, did he get it? And he was like, he kind of hesitated, right? I'm like, did you get it or not? And he wouldn't answer. There's certain questions he wouldn't answer. I'm thinking, it was frustrating, and I'm thinking about like, but a part of me had to like forgive him because of what he went through in order for me to progress further. I mean, there are certain moments where I think about him, but I can't, if I want to grow, I can't stay stuck in that.
Right. And that honestly, that to me gives proof to your question. The answer to your question, was that wasted energy? No. Because without it was not wasted. Because you did what you had to do. Now, how the response came, that ain't had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It really didn't.
I realize that now.
Yeah.
Back then, you don't realize
right,
that.
yeah. When you in it, it's hard to see. You did what you was led to do for your peace. You know, trying to reconcile. But everything we try don't work in the way that we want it to. But then again, it worked how it needs to. And so no, that was not wasted energy. Actually, it, like, as you was talking, I'm like, you was getting it out.
Yeah.
Like, that was your way. So all these bags that I know I done carried. You know what I'm saying? All these bags. Instead, you was sorting through. You were donating some of this stuff. You were putting it down. You was taking the trash out. You know, you were cleaning up your personal space. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
For real. Because don't you feel better? Just imagine if you didn't do any of it.
Because I was always had that nagging thought of what if.
That's real. That's very real. You know, and time is, I mean, it's unknown. As you know, your father passed away. You know, look, hindsight is just in time for you to be inquisitive and for you to expel that energy when he was alive. I'm gonna tell you, it's my mission to, just like what we're doing, like I wanna be that constant. Not I wanna be. I am a beam of light, a beacon of light. And you know what? You're a beacon of light. And there's so many beacons. We're really all a beacon of light. It's just some of us a little dull.
No, it's just I'm over here getting emotional because I realize that I wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for you. You were so. Oh my God! If my niece could see me right now, it's call me a robot. I'm over here crying.
No, that's real. That's what's up. You got it. I mean, that's all. Like, I wouldn't be a friend. How in the world could I truly be a friend to not recognize? Like, hold up. You know what I mean? Like, I see you. I see how you move, your principles. You know what I mean? How you move. We need you. We need you on what you doing and more. What you do, we need you. We need you in film. Don't worry about it. We coming. We coming. But you understand what I'm saying? These are the voices we need. People, so they look out to Hollywood or Atlanta or wherever, all of these places that's doing it. That's what's up. Keep doing it. But neglect to look in the mirror or at the neighbor or what's local. We gotta start. Somebody gotta start right here.
No, I know. I feel blessed with. I realize that there's so many people that I've like either they just fell by the wayside or I just purposely kicked out of my life.
Yeah.
But I realize that where I am right now, Allah has certain people in place to help me, and it was you. It was Imam Haq Muhammad, Abdul Haq Muhammad, my mom, my brother, my sister. Like, they all said, make a podcast. But you were the one that said, I forgot what it was. I think I wanted to be on yours. And you were like, girl, make your own podcast.
Yes.
I was like,
I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. And look at you. What season you in?
3.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't heard, go back and stream season 1 and 2. I'm telling you, like, the content you give is needed. It's solid. It's relatable. We need it. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
I'm a fan. So definitely, girl, we need you. We need you and everything like you.
She got a little water out my eyes. I wish Khadijah could see this right now. Call me a robot.
That is too cute.
Like, I never see you cry.
Because you don't be in the right place at the right time.
Right? I have feelings.
Okay. Yeah.
Press On, the latest book from author CeeCee Robinson. The full title, Press On, Awareness to Overcome All While Healing Debts of the Heart, Mind, and Soul, available on Amazon, BalboaPress.com, and BarnesandNoble.com. So what are you waiting for? Click that order button.
And you know what? That's the beautiful difference between us. I realize that it really is because, I'm more street than you, and at first, I feel like that was the difference. Let me bring it back. Akila and I, we were raised, like our childhood, we came up together and then I moved away. When I was like in like the 1989. It wasn't until we were adults when we came back together. But when we came back together, I had this foundation built and you have this foundation built, and they were completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew how to celebrate those differences. Honestly, picking the differences apart. Yeah, I don't think I really knew how to celebrate those differences. With me being more, hood tendencies and you know what I'm saying? Just keeping it G, and anyway, but
there's something to be said that because I don't have hood tendencies, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I think within the communities, we're judged because of that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're not black enough, or you're too
Yeah.
black. It's like, well, what is that? Because
Right.
I've heard it all my life. I'm too articulate, too
Really?
smart. Girl. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know why I'm talking about really, because honestly, I adapted to the streets because I was bullied.
Oh.
I was bullied because I was smart.
Wow.
I'm just keeping for real.
No.
I was actually, when we moved away, you already know, in our childhood, I don't know if we had a normal childhood because we were scholarly.
Yeah. Because of
children.
our parents.
Yeah,
Wow.
as children. And that I lost touch with that because when I moved, people used to pick on me.
You have a book out, and it's called
Press On, Awareness to Overcome All While Healing Debts of the Heart, Mind, and Soul by CeeCee Robinson.
Y'all need to read that book for real. I'm telling
Thank you.
I'm telling y'all, if y'all saw my sticky notes in my book.
That's what's up. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, and you can be found where?
You can find me everywhere. My YouTube. Come see me. Awaykenned. That is my channel, and that's also my social media. Awaykenned. AWAYKENNED. Yes, it is slightly misspelled, but not really.
It's not misspelled.
Exactly. See, what is misspelled?
What is misspelled?
Yeah, what is misspelled?
That's another topic.
That's a
whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same level.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Awaykenned. You can find me on YouTube. Awaykenned. If you want to see my little concepts that I play with, I'm on TikTok and on Instagram. Awaykenned.
And you have a podcast?
I do. You can find that. It's the Vibe Clinic. You know what I'm saying? It's where we healing where we at. For real, it's about, getting our vibe, becoming one with self, and getting our vibe in order so that we can feel better, and see better, and experience better.
You heard it from the source, people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the conversation piece for having me. Thank you, Akila. I want to come back.
Yeah, of course, anytime. All right, peace.
Peace.
Hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have Spotify? If so, turn on the notification button. You can also find the Conversation Piece podcast on Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, RadioPublic.com, Breaker.audio, and Anchor.fm/Akila Lynch, spelled AQUILA-LYNCH. Thank you for your support. Looking back, Season 3, Episode 2. It was a pleasure having AJ on, and with him being so open and honest with the time that he had. Unfortunately, his Wi-Fi kept messing up, so the audio in this episode is not of great quality, but I worked with what I had. So, he'll be on again, inshallah. Trust me. AJ has plenty more to say. Here are some clips looking back on Me At The Crossroads. So on this particular chat, I spoke with my friend AJ. He was a neighbor, like literally lived next door to us. And I've known him since he was 9 years old. I mean, how do I describe AJ? He is unique. He's someone that always speaks his mind. Always. And I did not expect him to hold back this time. And he did not. The audio was cutting in and out, but we're going to pick back up where AJ is explaining how, because he was a foster child, he developed issues of abandonment.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to see me, but you get having more children. So it makes you have abandonment issues. It makes you have self-esteem issues. What's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, am I good enough? I'm not good enough. So then that brought on when other people used to talk about, are you ugly, you're fat, you're this and that. You know, I wasn't always big. I didn't really get big until I got into high school. Mm-hmm. You know, I was skinnier. You know, when you first met me, I wasn't big.
No.
I was skinny. Even in middle school, I was skinnier. And then I got in high school, I started to pick up more weight because I had that issue of abandonment. And I just, you know, I fell in love with food. Ain't gonna lie. You know, we love food out here in the Black community, honey, fried chicken. Yes, God. Let me tell you something. You know, y'all don't eat pork. You know, I'm Baptist. We eat pork. You know, back in those days, we ate pork. And then had hog maws and neck bone and pig feet, pigtails. You know, growing up, that's what we did. You know, we ate all that. That was our life, and that became my source of comfort. You know, when I was in pain, and I didn't know, a lot of folk didn't know I was in pain. I was hurting. I was in a place. You know, there have been many places and many times where I wished that when I went to bed at night, I just didn't wake up. Mm. You know, I just, you know, I felt like it'd be better for me just to not wake up. Mm. If I had to go through this, you know. What I'm talking about, you know, my mind goes crazy.
It was about gender.
We're talking about Fort Myers not that big, so when you're living, born and raised in a place that's not that big, you don't really see a lot of stuff. You're sheltered. You know, you're ignorant to a lot of things. And people may think because when you come out as being gay, you go to bigger cities like Atlanta, that you should know what, you know, stuff about gay people. Well, I didn't know everything because I was raised in a smaller city. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't around a lot of gay people growing up. I was born and raised in the church. When I say born and raised, I wasn't the one that just born and raised go home. I was in church all the time. Mm-hmm. I was in choir, Boy Scouts, ministering training, all that I was in. So I was sheltered to the outside world of the church. all I knew was church. So when I started venturing out, you know, and outside of high school and going to these different places, Job Corps, college, traveling. So going to these different places, you get into like a shell shock. It's like a lot of stuff just happens, and it's like, what? And they expect for you to know this stuff, gay people, because you're gay. And I'm like, honey, I didn't know this kind of stuff. One, I was nervous to come out. And second, I was in denial for a very long time. And but I also didn't want to be in a box. And I didn't want to be. And I knew because of how I acted, who I was, the way I was raised up, the people that I was around, that I was not going to, even when I came out, act like a lot of these other gay people. Because it's just because of the morals that I was raised up under. And I'm not saying gay people don't have morals. I'm just saying this is the millennial generation. Mm. And when you're raised up with a bunch of baby boomers, or what's your generation? Generation X.
Yeah.
I was raised up with Generation X and baby boomers. Mm-hmm. So, I didn't really hang around a lot of people that was of my own age. The millennial generation. I didn't really hang around that. So when I started to branch out and hang out to people, it's that's in the millennials. And now I'm talking to some Generation Z's. Their mindsets are just, and I'm learning from them how to be more open-minded, because I was very closed-minded for a very, very long time. I was acting as if I was born in the 50s. Honestly, I didn't really.
What do you attribute that to? You attribute that to your upbringing, your mindset?
I attribute it to my upbringing. A lot of people was comfortable in the situations, in their situation, and because go out and get this job. It pays good. It pays $14 an hour. You worked there for 30 years. People did that forever. Back in those times, it was okay to go do that, get a job, they give you benefits. You was safe. And I didn't want to be safe, but I also was stuck. It's almost as if I was in a twilight zone somewhere. I was stuck in the middle. I was trying my best to find my way, but then I was stuck because I heard that I was in my back of my head from people that I grew up with. You need to get a regular job, in the back of my head. But then I didn't want no regular job. I wanted to do this. I wanted to break down those barriers. So it's like I was being bombarded from both sides, and it was just driving me insane. Part of the reason why I had to move out of Fort Myers, Florida, because I felt myself in a box and I couldn't break out.
I was going to ask you, is that one of the reasons you moved away? I was going to ask this question, but you answered it, so okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I felt myself like I was in a box, and if I did not leave Fort Myers, I was going to be stuck. Be like them. I was gonna be 50 years old and living a basic life. And I just feel like God created us in this one world with this one life. Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna sit back and waste my money on a car that's just not gonna benefit me. I'll drive a car, when I'm in a place in life where I know I can afford that car.
Right.
But right now I'm working on building businesses. I'm gonna drive my ass in my little small Fiat or my darn Kia Rio to this business meeting, getting out in a wonderful suit while they getting out in Bentleys. I'm not going to worry about what kind of car I'm driving until it gets to that point. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having those type of cars. I'm saying is prioritize. What is it going to benefit you to have that car right now?
People drive stuff for other people. I don't think they drive for themselves. Some people care about what other people think about them, the image that they have.
It is. It's today's society we live in. Not only driving, living. I see folk living in places they have no business living in just because the area and just because just to be seen. I'm staying in this wonderful house, paying $2,500, $3,000 a month rent in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh no.
You got 3 people staying in that house and y'all still can't afford it because it's that damn high.
How much is rent there?
Well, I got friends that stay in Midtown. I got a friend right now stay in Buckhead, pay $4,000 goddamn month.
Rent?
For rent. He got another person, he got 2 people. Got split for $4,000 a month worth of rent, and that doesn't even include, utilities and lights and all that stuff and gas.
Oh wow!
So you're sitting around here trying to prove what to people? Honey, I'm staying my ass at Stone Mountain. Well, I ain't paying that goddamn much. Y'all don't pay my bills. I'm sorry, mama. Y'all don't pay my bills. Y'all don't pay my bills. Right. I'm not proving nothing to you. I'm looking at building businesses. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be working in my 50s and 60s. I want to be working singing, but I don't want to have to do what I have to do.
Right.
I don't want to have to do anything, you know. And that's what we should be teaching our people, how to learn how to gain knowledge about business, real estate, investing, stocks, owning stuff in your name, credit, the gold mine.
The credit game's rigged, though. I mean, let's be honest.
It is.
Hearing your story, it kind of reminds me of Lil Nas X, because I was reading a little bit about him, and he said he's going through the same thing right now, but he just happened to have to release a song that just blew up and became the #1 song on a Hot 100 for, I think, of all time right now. How do you feel about Lil Nas X and how he chooses to market himself as an openly gay black man?
I think he is young and he's growing. I don't think he has the best leadership around him.
Right.
I don't think let me not speak on his talents, because everybody's talent is subjective. But speaking as an artist, an aspiring artist myself, because that didn't have the capability of putting out a record that blew up, but I'm working on things. I think for him, he's doing what he feels he needs to do to secure the bag. Mm-hmm. If you understand what I'm talking about by securing the bag.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I think doing what he needs to do to secure the bag. Do I believe 10 years from now that he's going to look back at what he's doing right now and he's going to regret it? Yes. I do believe that he's going to regret certain things that he's done, but that's who doesn't. It's definitely out there, and that's why that leads me back to Lil Nas X, because I understand you want to make a statement when it comes to you and your sexuality and what the church cannot have on you, but you got a platform. God knows how long you're gonna have it for, because people come in and go in this industry.
Right.
Use that platform that's going to benefit the sector that got you there. Gay people. Don't monopolize off of gay people, because
I don't think his biggest fan base are gay people.
No, they're young. They're young people. They're young adults. They're young kids. And that's another thing that bothers me. It bothers me when it comes to him, because just because I'm gay does not mean I accept you doing all that stuff, because I know who's patronizing you, and it's young teens.
Right.
And they should not be influenced by you just because you are who you are. Now, let's just get this off the tape.
Okay.
Women and men been doing this for years.
Right.
On the stage.
Right.
Kissing on the stage and all that shit. Ain't nothing new. It's nothing new. It's going to continue to happen. So when folks bring that up to me about, oh, I can't believe he kissed a man. Would I have done it? Hell no. It ain't my damn business. And I don't want my business all out in no goddamn street. That's just me personally. I don't need to prove my point to kiss another man on on the stage just to prove that I'm gay as hell. And I am who I am. I love me. I don't need to prove that part. Everybody does it differently though. So I don't like when they sit back and they judge him just because he kissed a whole male on stage. Did I watch it? Watch bits and pieces of it. I tell folk all the time, I don't care who you are. Because I am gay don't mean you. I mean, I gotta like you. Your music may not be good to me. And his music is not good to me.
I've only heard Old Town Road. I haven't even heard Montero. If it came on right now, I wouldn't recognize it.
Old Town Road was good, but he wasn't the only one in it. You want to be honest with you? He wasn't the person that made it good.
You about Billy Ray Cyrus?
Billy Ray Cyrus made that song good.
What do you think about the country industry kind of like categorizing it as not as country? Like they just like controversy, like, oh, that's not country music.
Because they don't want nothing to do with it. Because you gotta understand, country music stems off real deep Southern Christianity.
But it's a black influence. It's stuff from the blues, which is another genre
I understand it, but if you look at a lot of country singers, even in their albums still speak about God and Jesus, which is acceptable in country music because it's considered Southern. And a lot of Southern white folks are Christian.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's also a pop aspect to country music. Like, country music is
because it's branching out. You know, you got that Carrie Underwood, you got the Taylor Swift type of status that are crossing over. What they call it? Kelly Clarkson that crossed over from pop to country. Then back and forth. But, it's a crossover status when it comes to them. And they need that in country music because it was, honey, don't nobody want to hear no fill all the time, every day. Don't nobody want to hear that. We love Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline was in her time. We need to hear something different, and that's what Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift have done, or are doing when it comes to country music and pop and the crossover status. But you gotta
Why do you think that song was so popular?
Old Town Road.
Hip hop, yeah.
It really did. It did a lot of stuff for us, but for Black people, they don't get the credit that they deserve. If you want to go back, Angie Stone, what's that group that was grouped back in 1970s, late 70s, early 80s? It was a rap group that she was a part of. Was made a couple hit songs, very famous song. I forget what it was.
70s?
I'll tell you later. I find.
How old is Angie Stone?
But look it up. Angie Stone is in her 60s.
She's that old?
Yes. People thought about Angie Stone was Brownstone and what's that goddamn song? Brothers, and all talking about, when she wrote songs about brothers in the late 90s. It's all they thought that's when Angie Stone came out. No. Angie Stone been out since the late 70s. That's why Angie Stone and Chaka Khan like this, because they traveled together. And even before she came out, she was doing background for Chaka.
Okay, you and I always have an interesting discussion on verses. So you wanted to discuss Patti LaBelle versus Aretha. So here we go. Now, again, music is subjective. It's subjective. Everyone has their own opinion. But, I see your face.
You asking me about Patti LaBelle and Aretha.
I already know. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this man is one of the biggest Patti LaBelle fans on the face of God Green's earth. You say anything wrong about Patti LaBelle, he will come at you. To me, Patti versus Aretha is as apples and oranges. They had their own different distinct styles. Why are you shaking your head like that? Go ahead.
Hey, how y'all doing? Before we get into his Aretha versus Patti soliloquy, as I want to call it, or monologue, either way, it's gonna be dramatic. Just a few programming notes. And before all the Angie Stone stands come at me, Angie Stone right now is 59 years old. She's not in her 60s. Also, the hip-hop trio that he was referencing, it was called The Sequence. Just wanted to, make that known. Okay. He was close though. He was close.
Looking back, season 3, episode 3. We were supposed to hang out. That is a sentiment me and Nia often find ourselves in. This was a fun chat to have, nevertheless. I mean, Shark Week, people. Shark Week. So, here are a few clips looking back on we were supposed to hang out, COVID.
You don't do the big.
I'll go, but I only go so far in the water. See, Jaws. Jaws messed me up.
Girl. So, you know how it's Shark Week this week?
It is?
Yes. I don't know why that's a thing, but I guess it's a thing because Discovery Channel has been like showing shows, nothing about sharks, everything about sharks. And there was this girl that survived a shark attack. Girl, that shark bit like all her back and like it went all the way to her stomach and she survived. And they showed it on TV. It was disgusting.
So it bit her in half and she survived, girl.
Yes. Yes. It happened in the Bahamas.
What kind of shark was it?
I don't know. I forgot. Great white? I don't know.
I don't know. I know great whites, they do bite people, but they don't particularly like the way they taste. But I do know like bull sharks and tiger sharks are very, very aggressive and they're known to attack
Maybe
people
it was
too.
one of those. Maybe it was one of those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think great whites, because it's the stereotypes that great whites are out here like chomping on people. Shark Week is popular though. It's very, very popular.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. For them to have the whole week of it. You ever seen Air Jaws? Have you seen Air Jaws?
No.
Girl. Okay. So this is the nerd in me coming out, right? So I didn't know great whites had the capacity to launch themselves out of the air. Like they go shoom, right? Catch air and come back down. What they're doing basically is they're going after, because seals is one of their favorite foods.
Yes.
And so I guess evolution, they had to learn over time how to keep up with these bad boys, right? So seals are very elusive or whatever. So what they found was seals, they pretty much swim on the top of the water. So the sharks go deep. They go very, very deep to where they really can't see them. And so what they do is they build up momentum, but build up speed. And they try to get the seal at a certain moment to like almost like stun it. So they go from way deep, they come up. And that's how they catch air like that. But they're trying to like stunt almost like catch the seal off guard. Because if they try to do it, if they travel on shallow water, they're finding out they can't really catch the seals like that because seals are so fast and elusive. But I mean, I think they clocked them at close to like 60 miles an hour or faster than that, breaching the water. The mechanics of it is so fascinating. It's like, how did they learn how to do that? Like,
that's insane.
Right.
But they gotta know how to survive.
Yeah.
Discovery did show that they did show like an experiment. I don't know what they were experimenting, the shark or how fast it was going. I don't know what, but it did something like that where it went like that and then it shot right back up and they set up like a fake seal, which was messed up. Didn't get to eat. But so it went and it grabbed it. And then I don't know what they did after that. They were like doing some sort of experiment, but I did see that on Discovery Channel too. I've been watching too much Shark Week. I gotta stop.
Fascinating. Did you see the one about the megalodon? Megalodon?
I've heard about that shark because my coworker has been trying to get that tooth because it's supposedly the shark tooth is like this big. It's very large. Yeah.
How is she gonna get a tooth?
I don't know. She's been trying to go to Venice Beach because supposedly Venice Beach has, that's what they're known for out there is the shark teeth. And people go there and collect the shark teeth. I've been to Venice Beach like 3 times, girl. I ain't never seen no shark teeth.
I've been once, and once was enough for me. I was like,
Sharks, not trying to swim with them, nothing. People be going in the cages. I'm like, I'm not trying to have that break on me. Not today, no, not ever.
Well, you see who be going in them cages, right?
Let's not go there.
I'm just saying.
Me and Nia are having a culture exchange in which I have concrete evidence that I cannot roll my R's. Case in point, she thought I said a cuss word.
I've never heard of that. Rios?
I think it's Latina. Let me show you.
Rizzo's curl.
Rizos. Yeah, what was I saying?
Rios.
I'm so sorry.
Rizzo means curl. Curly hair. Rizzo.
Oh, look, girl, I spelled it wrong on my card. Okay.
R-I-Z.
Rizzo. What was I saying?
You were saying Rio, like that
Brazil?
country. Brazil. Rio de Janeiro.
Rizzo. Okay, that makes sense now.
Rizzo.
I'm sorry.
Rizzo. Curly hair. Rizzo. Yo tengo rizos.
Oh, okay. My bad. No, it works really good on my hair. That deodorant products work really good on my hair.
So it smells so good. And the owner she's Latina, and she's the first Latin owner to have her own hair product line being sold at Ulta, and that just like went down like about a couple weeks ago.
They've been out for a while though.
They have been, but in Target, not in Ulta. So like it was a big deal, but she's like the first Latina to have her own hair product and sold at Ulta. That was cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Ashley told me about them, so I tried it and it worked there. It works really good with my hair. Cause people, yeah,
she got me on.
Yeah, because people sweat. I remember one time I was where was I at? I was at a courthouse. And I was walking to my car, and some people, I don't know what my hair was looking at that day, but they were like, what is it? Baricua? I'm like, huh? No, I don't think so.
What?
They thought I was Puerto Rican. I'm like, no.
Boricua.
What'd I say?
You said maricua.
No, I said baricua. I didn't say maricua. What is maricua?
Marica, it's a bad word.
No, I swear to God, I didn't say that. I got an editor on this. No, I didn't say that. I said bori. I can't roll my R. Borica. Boricua.
Wow. Girl.
Why can't I roll my R's?
Yeah, you can't eat pork only, right? You can't eat pork, right?
No, I don't eat pork.
Okay, so you can have this though. So there's a Boricua, a Puerto Rican food truck in Cape Coral that is so good. You gotta try it.
Those food trucks are so good. They have some of the best food.
Yes, they do. There's also a Dominican one that I want to try too that just opened in Cape Coral.
Why are they on Cape Coral though?
I know.
There's like a few in here in Lehigh, but I can eat tacos anywhere.
Girl, there's a Puerto Rican restaurant in Lehigh that just opened called Gandules, and it is so good.
Where is it?
It's on Lee Boulevard, like the beginning of Lee Boulevard.
Okay, Lee Boulevard.
Gandules, Gandules. Let me know when we going, because you cannot go without me now.
Okay. So what are some like traditional Puerto Rican dishes?
Arroz con gandules, which is rice and pigeon peas. And mofongo, which is like smashed up plantains with, you can put pork rinds in it or not. And you can put different kinds of meat in it. You can put chicken, you can put pork, or shrimp, things like that. And you have that with un caldito, which is like broth. You have that and you put the broth over it. Ooh, it is so good. So there's mofongo, there's what did I say? Mofongo, arroz con gandules, alcapurria, which is fried plantain, but inside of this plantain, it's like a patty. You stuff it with ground beef or with crab meat, I like the ground beef personally, but like other Puerto Ricans, they like the crab meat. And it's really good. So that's alcapurrias. What else they got? They got bacalao, which is codfish. So you make this codfish with some boiled eggs, and it's called yames, which is, I think, yams in English. That's similar to like a potato. You have that on the side. You put a little bit of oil, some avocados. Those are traditional. You can have it bacalao, codfish, like that, like cooked like that, or you could have it fried, and we call that bacalaíto, and that is really good too.
And you make me hungry.
Girl,
I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry now. Okay.
That's some traditional Puerto Rican foods.
Hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have Spotify? If so, turn on the notification button. Poor Nia. When it came to Nelly, well, just hear for yourself.
I don't remember the name, but Nelly's made one before, like years ago, over and over again. That one was more like,
oh yeah.
But now he's made a new one that is more upbeat, and it's more like line dance type of country. That's really good.
When did it come out?
I think this year. Let me see what it's called. I got you. Nelly. Country Grammar.
Oh, that's an old song.
No, that's not it. It's called Florida Georgia Line.
Florida Georgia Line. That's the name of a group, isn't it?
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Do you still have family in Puerto Rico?
Yes. Most of my family is out there, except mom's here. But my grandmother, my aunts and my uncles, my great aunts, my cousins. I was just there a few months ago in April.
This is a stupid question. Do you need a passport or no?
No, because Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. You don't need no passport. You just need your ID, and everything is like very smooth, just like it is in any state here.
Is it expensive to go?
It could be, but if you travel, like let's say, I don't know. There are flights from Fort Myers to Puerto Rico, but they're like $1,000. But if you were to go travel from Fort Lauderdale or Miami, they're typically around, you can get like a round trip for $200.
What?
I know, it's crazy. So typically when I've gone in recent years, I've traveled from Miami because it's cheaper.
Yeah. No, like yeah. I want to travel. I want to go. I would love to see Puerto Rico.
Girl, let's go.
I heard it's beautiful.
You let me know and we'll go. The beaches are beautiful. The town is beautiful. Like San Juan, where I'm from is really nice. The beaches are everywhere, like left and right. There's beaches everywhere.
You trying to get me in the water. I see what you're trying to do. You trying to get me with the jaws besides.
No, but over there you could actually see your feet.
Oh.
So there's nothing to be over there. Like the water's blue. It's so nice. Girl, it is so nice over there. And okay, there's another fun fact that I didn't know about Puerto Rico that I actually learned recently. The pina colada is from Puerto Rico.
I wouldn't be surprised. America claim a lot of shit that we shouldn't be claiming.
I didn't know pina colada was originally from Puerto Rico. And the pina colada is supposed to be like the true pina colada from Puerto Rico is supposed to be served like on the rocks. Like it's supposed to be like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, like pineapple juice with rum on the rocks. Like it's not supposed to be flushed up with cherry on top, whipped cream. Yeah, no. Yeah. Supposedly like the pina colada is like that in Puerto Rico. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was supposed to be on the rocks, and I didn't know that it was like a smoothie, or that it was originated from
smoothie. That's interesting. So, what made your family move here? Some of them
to the States.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, if you talk to like a lot of Puerto Ricans that are in the States, most of them come to New York. I don't know what it is, but a lot of Puerto Ricans, they go to New York. It's funny because I was actually having this conversation with a Puerto Rican that I met this weekend. She is from the Bronx, New York. And I guessed it. I'm like, oh, I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm like, we were talking about New York. And I'm like, let me guess, you're from the Bronx. She's like, yes. I'm like, why do all Puerto Ricans end up in the Bronx? I don't know.
Familiarity, probably.
Yeah, probably. And other family members. It's just that's like a cultural thing. They go to New York. But yeah, so my mom was actually born in New York. My grandmother lived here at the time in New York because of, like you said, like other family members lived in New York and stuff. But then my grandmother wanted to move back to Puerto Rico. So she took her kids, moved back to Puerto Rico, and they stayed there for a while. My mom then came back to the States because she wanted to go to college here. So she came back here in New York. And then we were born in New York, but raised in New Jersey. Some of us, me, my little sister. So then my mom decided to move to Florida because she was tired of the cold. I ended up in Florida.
Nia stole a dog. She said she found him, but I don't know. It sounds suspect. But the backstory, his name is Shaggy. He's so cute. I'm so stupid.
Shaggy? Like Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. It's got shaggy hair. Look at this.
Oh my God. What kind of dog is that?
I think he's a Yorkie mix. I got him from the street.
Oh.
He's a dog.
Like, you saw him like wandering around?
Yeah. So my dad and my sister saw him wandering around.
You sure dog's not stolen?
Well, not no more. If it was, it's mine now.
Oh.
And I took him to the vet to get him official, make him officially my dog. Okay, the thing is, here's the story, all right? Mini story. So my dad and my sister would see him wandering around in the street and realize that it was my my neighbors across the street, because they would then see him tied to a tree in their backyard. And they would tell him, shouldn't do that, like it's 100 degrees outside. And that's like animal cruelty, like just tied to a tree, no water, no nothing, no like doggy house, no nothing. So, and then they were like, oh, we're actually dog sitting for another family member. So I guess this dog belonged to like another family member of theirs. And then my dad and my sister, same thing, like the dog would show up even at our front door, because we have 2 other dogs. So I guess it would sense the other dogs. I don't know what. I don't know. I think he just belonged to us because he was like, help me. So then I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like them treating the dog like that, them letting him wander in the street. He could get hit by a car. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep him. And then eventually they moved away. At first I was hiding the dog in my house. And then eventually they moved away. And I'm like, okay.
All right. It's yours now. So, all right.
Exactly.
All right. Hey. Sometimes it be like that.
Exactly. But now
Oh
his
my
name is
God. Shaggy. Oh.
Yep.
Looking back, Season 3, Episodes 4 and 5. If I had to select an episode or episodes that were powerful and made an impact, it would definitely be Episodes 4 and 5, The War and Won the War. So much so that CeeCee gave me a review. She said, quote, hearing Brandi's episode, it gave me a bird's eye view into addiction. I never fought an addiction, but I know people very close to me who have. So it gave me an opportunity to look at what they were dealing with. 1, they suppressed it. And 2, they didn't have anyone to talk to. All we saw was the deviance of it. Listening to her, it gave me hope. Hope for people, because I'm listening to someone who came out of this deep place. It was touching. It was powerful. End quote. Thank you, CeeCee, and thank you, Brandi. Here are some clips looking back on episodes 4 and 5, The War
and won the war.
One of the reasons why I want to have you on here is because everyone has different, unique life experiences, and I think we can learn from each other from that. And so that's why I want to get your lived experience so far, because I feel it's important. Because people in this pandemic, they're turning to like drugs and alcohol to kind of deal with the anxiety and stress. And so,
the quote-unquote war on drugs has been a failure since Nixon declared the war on drugs in 1971. Since that time, the United States has spent $1 trillion in that fight, and a policy around the war on drugs has disproportionately affected the poor and communities of color, who are oftentimes policed and targeted by law enforcement, and then subjected to harsher sentences, especially for low-level drug offenses. Now, there have been some conspiracy theories surrounding the CIA purposely flooding the black communities with drugs. John Awaykenned, a former Nixon advisor, is on record as saying the following, quote, "The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You know what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did." End quote. Was this a war on drugs or a war on people?
I was just at the bottom. One day my drug dealer ended up coming to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother, my mother, and my children were all there. And I had stolen $20 from him before I left his house that day. And I walked home, and apparently he woke up and got mad and came to get his money. And while he was like banging at the front door, I was hiding in the bathroom with the needle in my arm. And I could hear my mom at the door wrestling this guy who's like huge. He's like 300 pounds. And he's like, "No, I want my money. I want my money." So my mom ends up calling the cops. I'm still in the bathroom, like for minutes. I'm just in there, too worried about my drugs, not even worried about the safety of my kids or my grandmother or my mom. And when I did come out, my grandmother was sitting in her chair. I could see down her hallway, and she was just crying. And she looked up at me and she said, "You can't come here anymore." And my grandma was the one that was always there for me. At the same time, it was just overwhelming. And at the time, the doctor was just writing me prescriptions, no questions. I mean, hundreds of opiates a month. It was just crazy. Because like from my point of view, like you're not thinking like, oh, what are they gonna be looking for? Like, so you're just going about life like, and you're acting like really crazy, and you don't realize that the rest of the world is seeing that. So I don't know what to look for really. Like just a different person. I was like evil in addiction, but like the real me is like this kind, like I'm just really humble. I'm really kind. I'm sweet. I wouldn't lie and cheat and steal, but in my addiction, that's all I did. Like that was me. Those three things were me. So those are the things I would look for. I think understanding addiction, it helps a lot of families because it's affecting so many families. Understanding it means you're learning about it, and you're learning of ways to overcome it and help people through it. So that's why I think you should understand it instead of maybe not judging it, understanding it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So what signs do you look for?
Behavior, withdrawment, like for me, like I was always so like around my family all the time. Like I just wanted to be around my grandmother, my mom, my brother, my grandfather. I always wanted to be with family, like whether it was barbecuing or going to church or whatever it was. And then so when you start to get deep within addiction, you draw away from those things. So you're not around as much. So you want to disappear because you don't want to be around. I did some awful things in my addiction, like things that I would have never done, like without being in that life, you know?
It's evident faith is very important in your life. I mean, I can see it immediately when you came back. I saw it and heard it in your voice too. What specifically about faith do you think helps you become a better person and become a changed person?
Well, faith alone, I didn't even, like, I knew what the word faith was and what it meant, and I knew we sung about it in church and we used it for all those little fancy cliche sayings, but I didn't really know like what it meant to have that faith, because like what my addictions were heroin, pills, cocaine, and mollies. Those were my addictions. Like heroin was one of the ones I had to have like daily to even get out of bed. Mm-hmm. So the withdrawal with that is like one of the most painful things that you could ever go through to me. And I've had 3 kids and I still say withdrawal is the most painful. So that night I had gotten high the morning I went into the program, so I wasn't like fully like, you know, bare yet. Mm-hmm. So I went to go to sleep that night and the girls kept telling me, you have to have faith, God's going to change you, like just have faith. And I was just looking at them like, you guys sound so dumb. Like, if everybody keeps saying this, like, you guys sound like robots. Like, I don't know what all this God stuff is, but this is crazy.
That was the drugs talking at that point, you think?
Yeah, probably, because like it was all still negative. I wasn't happy about being there. Although I wasn't forced and I did walk in, and I could have walked out just as easy at that time. But I told God in my bed, I sat there on the top of my bunk bed, and I'm looking around at all these women, and women of all kind. There was probably about 40 of us when I entered. And I was like, I told God, I said, if I have any withdrawals when I wake up or through the night, I'm leaving. I'm going to detox. I thought that was going to be my way out of there was, I have to go to detox. I have to get those meds to come off of this stuff. I can't do it alone. So they said, pray, like you have to have faith. So I told God that prayer that night. I almost was like giving him demands, like, you give me no withdrawals, I'll stay. But, you know, so I went to sleep and I woke up the next day and I sat up in my bed and I was like, I looked around, I felt my body and I was like 100% okay. And I laughed. I said, you have to be kidding me. I know it's going to get worse. I'm just doubting him already. Well, as the days went by, it got less and less, even any type of feeling. I didn't really have withdrawals at all. I didn't throw up. I didn't have like the diarrhea, the stomach. I just had a feeling that I was being stripped down. And so in there, they told you that was a good thing because you wanted to get to the core of why you were addicted. So I learned faith. That was my first experience with having faith, was just trusting that God wouldn't leave me in there high and dry with no meds and sick and me feeling like I would die, because that's what withdrawal does to you. So that's definitely mine. And a lot of girls stayed because of my testimony with that. They would come in and they would be like, no, I gotta go. I want to go get high. I can't do this. Withdrawal is hard. And I would encourage them to pray that. And some of them did, and it kept some of them there. It was crazy. I thought, how can God change me? Like, I am so far gone. Like, I was like 90 pounds soaking wet that day. Like, in the 4th month that I was there, I was doing really well, but like I was still a baby because it was an 18-month program. The pastor came in one night after dinner and she was like, it was like the head pastor, and she was like, girls, the program's shutting down here in Fort Myers and we're moving to New York. And I understand that a lot of you can't come. And she's like, Brandi, I know you have your boys here, so we're just going to graduate you here and now. We're not going to make you complete the 18 months. And that night I went to bed and I was like, this can't be the end. Like, this program is 18 months for a reason. And even though it's so far from home, I feel like God is telling me to finish. Like he's telling me to finish what I started. And those were the last words my grandmother gave me that day, where don't come home until you're finished. Like, finish this thing. So I woke up the next day and told Pastor Lucy, I was like, I know I'm leaving my kids, but it's not leaving them if I'm going to better my life. Like, I need to get out of this. Like, I was right there in the heart of, if I wanted to leave right then, like, I don't know if I would have slipped, you know? I think I needed every bit of that 18 months before I would be strong enough to do it. And I needed them. So I stayed. You know, I knew I was getting help with my addictions, but I really didn't ever stop to think about what it was that was actually going to get me through addictions. Like, you know, the treatment centers and the detox clinics, I would always see people just coming in and out of, and they would go away for 30 days and come back and just get into the same circle, same friends, and just end up right back either in jail or in another program. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. I need to find what it is so I can stay grounded in this. Like, I don't want to keep slipping back into addiction. It's what cost me everything, basically. My family, almost everything, until I had lost everything except for my kids. And that's when I knew, okay, you have to do something. So when I realized I was there to actually meet God and have a relationship with Him, that's when it all turned around. That's when, you know, I really started digging, like in the bed at night and during the day through all of our classes. We had class from like 6 a.m. till sometimes 6, 7 o'clock at night. Like, we would have 4 or 5 classes throughout the day, plus cleanup, plus laundry, plus just so many things. It was like teaching us to go back out into the world to do. Like, and I didn't even realize I didn't even have those ethics in me, because I had just given up on everything. The only hope I had in the world was that drug. Like, I would do anything, I would hurt anybody, and it was just terrible. So being that I found God there, and I just started to see how many doors He was possible of opening once I got out. So when, you know, the program was shutting down and everybody had to go to New York, I thought it was crazy that I was gonna leave my kids, like go 2,000 miles away from them to be in a program. I say, God, I hope you're leading me in the right direction. And already it's 8 years sober for me. So it was only God who got me through that. Like, it's crazy. Like, at first I'm like, people are going to think I'm just crazy God freak and all I talk about is God, but He's really who saved me. That program saved me. For me, I battled after addiction with depression, which was so bad. I never, like, I think back and it was like when I heard people say, oh, I'm depressed, or I take medication for this, I would think it was crazy. I'm like, no, like, how is depression like a real thing? Well, I feel like the enemy felt like, well, if I can't get her in her drug addiction, if she overcame that, I'm going to try to attack her in a different way. And, you know, like, it got me down for a while. Like, there was still some struggles there over, like, the course of a year. And on top of that, I was medically sick at the same time. But I picked myself up, and today I am 100% better. And, you know, I had to get back readjusted with how I wanted my life to be. But I tell you what, that program, the Dream Center, it really changed my life. It gave me a new perspective on everything. It just, you ask people today, like, oh, remember when Brandi used to do this and act crazy like this? And people that didn't know me back then do not even believe stories. Like, my husband now does not believe some of the stories I tell him of how I was in my past, but thank God. I only have God to thank for that in the program, because if I wouldn't have went there that day, if that last bridge wouldn't have been burned that day and I would have had nowhere to go, who knows where my life would be. Like, I needed to go there at that very time, in that very season. I needed to leave and complete the program in New York, which I did. I graduated in 2015 with my now husband. We both graduated the same year. And, you know, we just make different life choices. We just move different now.
Confucius said, "There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest." I am what time, circumstance, history have made of me, certainly, but I am also much more than that. So are we all. James Baldwin. Hey, for those of you who want to vibe out with CeeCee, check out her YouTube channel called Awaykenned, spelled Awaykenned. Yes, it's spelled the way it's spelled. Again, Awaykenned. She gives great advice, she has a great personality, and she recently introduced a new character called OG, with a beeper and all. Yes, I know. Some of you are like, what's a beeper? Hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have Spotify? If so, turn on the notification button. You can also find the Conversation Piece podcast on Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, RadioPublic.com, Breaker.audio, and Anchor.fm/Akila Lynch, spelled AQUILA-LYNCH. Thank you for your support. Well, alright, that wraps up my part 1. Join me for part 2 that will come out inshallah next week. For those of you who are asking, what does inshallah mean? It means God willing, if it's the will of God. Hey, you never know. You never know sometimes. Alright, see you later. Peace. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe. Love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.